Hello friends, welcome back to Pandal Hub channel. So today we are going to look into the Java interview questions of part 3. Hope you would have enjoyed the other two parts. So today we are going to majorly discuss about the substring of the string class which causes the memory leaks. So how it causes and how it has been handled, and let's get deep understanding of this memory leak using the substring here. Let's get into it. So how substring method in string causes memory leak issue? So substring method is one of the widely used methods of string class. It is used to extract part of a string and has two overloaded variants. So this substring, as the word represents, it is used to extract a part of the source string. So the two variants represents the two methods of substring are with two different parameters. That is one which takes one integer parameter as an input here, which represents the begin index from where the string has to be extracted from the source string. So this method is used to extract a portion of the string starting from begin index. So here is an example. So we have a string s which represents a value demo pandol hub, and you're going to get a substring starting from an begin index which is 4. So the substring method value will be pandol hub because the starting index which we have mentioned is 4, and from the source string the fourth position starts with P, and from there the entire string gets substring. So the begin index parameter must be within the range of the source string, otherwise you would see the following exception, which is the java.lang.string index out of bound exception. So this represents the begin index or the integer value whatever we mention should be within the range, that is should be less than the length of the source string. If not, it is going to throw this exception because the begin index should not be greater than the length of the index. I mean length of the source string. So the second variant of the substring method is that it takes two integer parameters. One is the begin index and the other is the end index. The begin index represents the place from which the string has to be extracted, and end index represents till which it has to end. So, so always the end index is subtracted from 1 because we all know that the indexing in the string starts from 0. So looking at this example, when you just mention as the substring of 4 comma 13, where 4 represents the begin index and 13 represents the end index, the substring that gets the value is the pandol hub. That is, it starts from the fourth position, which is 4, starting from 0, and the 13th, which is the end of the string B. So the output will be pandol hub. And going with the internal working of the string, let's learn how it causes the memory leak issue. So string is internally represented by array of characters, and when a new string object is created, it has following fields. So string is nothing but it's a class, it's an immutable class written in Java. So this class internally has few fields which identify that it is a string or which make that it is a string. We just declare a string using the string keyword, but internally how the string is created in the Java, that is, it includes these three uh, fields. So the first one is the character array, which actually stores all the characters of the string individually. And the two integer parameters, one is the count. Count includes the total characters in the string, and offset represents the starting index offset in the character array. So for example, we have the object string, which is assigned with the value demo pandol hub. So the character array value, it includes all the characters present in the string individually, and count represents the total characters in the string, which are 13, and offset represents the starting index, which is a 0. So when we take a substring from original string, new string object will be created in a constant pool or in heap. The value, that is the character array value, will be shared among two string objects, but count and offset attributes of the string object will vary according to substring length and starting index. So what does this say is, when we create a new string object, it will be created in a constant pool or in heap. So if it's a string, then it is going to create an object in a string pool. If it's a string builder or a string buffer, it is going to create in a heap. So now since we are dealing with the string, it is going to create an object in the pool. So since we have a value called demo pandol hub assigned to this object string, there is an object created with demo pandol hub in the string pool of the memory. So now let's assume that we are going to get a substring from the source string object string. That is, the begin index is 4, whereas the end index is 10. So the value that we should get is the pandol. So this pandol, which is a substring, internally includes the same three attributes as the string. which is the character array, the count, and the offset. The character array includes the whole string, and the count represents from 4 to 10, which is 5. That is, we need the 5 characters, and offset represents 4. So this 4 represents this is the start from which it has to start. So the next one is, let's check how the substring method causes a memory leak issue. So let's check into the internal working of the substring. So string is internally represented by array of characters, and when a new string object is created, it has following fields. So string, so when we create a string using a string keyword, we have internally a class called string written by Java. So this string class includes the following fields. The first one will be the character array, which is represented as a value which includes array of characters. So this is going to store all the characters of the string which forms the source string. And two integer parameters, one is the count represents the total characters in the string, and offset represents the starting index offset in the character array. So let's consider this example, like the object string which I have created and assigned a value called demo pandol hub. So the character array is going to include all the letters of the string, and count represents the number of characters available in the string, and offset represents the index from which it starts. So when we take a substring from the original string, a new string object will be created in a constant pool or in heap. So since we are dealing with string, which is immutable, in that case, the string object is going to get created in a constant pool. But when you consider in a heap, that is, you're going to deal with a string buffer or a string builder, in that case, the object gets created in a heap. So the value character array will be shared among these two strings, but count and offset attributes of string object will vary according to substring length and start index. So what does the second line mean is, when you're going to get a substring from the original string. So with this example, like string object string is equal to demo pandol hub. This is the source string. So from the source string, you're getting a substring with starting index 4 and an end index 10. So this should retrieve a value called pandol. So what is the internal representation of this substring object? Let's check it. So for substring, the character value is going to contain the complete source string. The count represents from 4 to 10, we are going to have 5 characters. So the count represents 5 and offset represents 4, because the starting position which needs to be considered for this substring we have mentioned as 4. So the offset becomes 4. So in this scenario, when you look at it, the source string demo pandol hub, we have it here with count 13 and offset 0, and the substring pandol with count 5 and offset 4 is also pointing to the source string. So both the character arrays, that is the value attribute, points to the same source string. So in that case, what happens is, there are two references, one from the source string character array and the substring character array. Two references are pointing to a one string called demo pandol hub. Okay. So what is the problem caused by substring here then? So what happens if both the character arrays of both the source and the substring point to a single source string? So what happens? What's the problem? So the problem caused by the substring here, because of pointing the two character arrays to the same source string. So what happens is, this is the one which is going to lead you to the memory leak issue. So here, for example, the source string, which is the object string, which we have created and assigned as demo pandol hub. So let's consider that we are going to make the source string as null. Okay, let's assign the source string as null. So in that case, what happens? So what's the outcome of making the source string as null? So here is the thing. So we might think that the object string object will be garbage collected as we made it null. So we assume that since it's null, what happens is the original string is made to null. So it's ready to get garbage collected now. It's free, it has no references, and it's free to be garbage collected. But when we call substring, a new string object is created in memory, but still it refers the character array value from original string. This prevents object string from being garbage collected, and we are unnecessarily storing whole string demo pandol hub in the memory. So what does this line say is, do we make the original string to be null? This will not be eligible for garbage collection because the substring has a character array. The substring is going to have a character array inside it. So that character array is pointing to the whole string. So in the previous slide, when you just look at it, the substring is pointing to the whole source string. So even if you delete the whole source string here, or even if you make the source string to be null, this string will not be garbage collected because this string is internally pointed or referenced by the character array of this substring. So since this character array of this substring is pointing to the source string will not be deleted and it will be out of the knowledge of the user. So so the user will not have a knowledge that it is being referenced internally by a character. So it's not we who are internally pointing the character value array to the source string. So it is the code of the Java internally, that is, it is the code of the string class which is pre-written by the Java folks, which internally creates a value array for a substring pointing to the original string. So this way it causes the memory leak where the user is unaware that it is being referenced by some other character array and it is not eligible for a memory leak. So how could we handle it in JDK 6? Because it's still 6 or below, you'll be facing this issue. So this issue should be handled by developers. So one option is creating new string object from substring return string. So what does this mention is, instead of just blindly creating an object string dot substring, what you can do is you can create a new object for that substring. So now when you create a new string, there is a new substring which gets created in a memory pool, and that will get pointed to your substring instead of pointing it to the original string. So the other option is call intern method on substring, which will then fetch an existing string from pool or add it if necessary. So this intern method is basically, what does that do is, it will so if you're trying to create a new string variable, assigning a value to it, like you're trying to assign a value called hello. So instead of creating a new object in a string pool, if the hello is already pre-existing in the pool, the already existing one will be referenced to your variable instead of creating a new entry in the pool. So it is to reuse the objects that are already available in the string pool. We use this intern method. So in both the cases, how we are handling it in JDK6 is that we are making or we are creating a new string object so that it doesn't point to the source string. So instead of pointing to the source string, it's going to point to the new string, which is a substring. So what is the fix that they have provided from JDK 7? So as I already mentioned, what the fix they have mentioned is like Sun Microsystems has changed the implementation of substring from JDK 7. So the substring method created points to the newly created extracted string instead of the original string, thus making original string eligible for garbage collection. So simply to say, as we already know the internal working of substring, basically a string is going to contain a character value array, an integer count parameter, and an integer offset parameter. So previously how it was like, the substring method, the character value is going to point to the whole source string. But after the fix from JDK 7, how it works is, the character array of the substring is going to contain only the substring characters. That is, if I need a substring starting from 4 till 13, only the characters pertaining to that offset will be present in the character array instead of the source string. So previously it was like all the characters available in the source string were available in the character array of the substring also. But after the fix, it's not so. So the offset will be 0 and the count will be 9. That is the number of characters that are available in the substring. So depicted in the diagram, so we have the string pools with two different values. one is the original string and the other is the substring. Both point or refer to two separate objects. And even if we delete, or if this is marked null, or the reference is marked null, in that case the source string is very well eligible to get garbage collected, and this substring doesn't have any reference to the original source string here after this fix. So thank you folks. Thank you so much for listening to this video. Please do like, share and subscribe. And if you have any comments, please do mention that in the comments box. And thanks for watching and hope it was helpful for you guys. Please do watch my other parts for additional questions and please subscribe it if you like it. Thank you.